All right. Welcome. Thank you for joining us today to another Wellness Wednesday here at Mayo Employees Federal Credit Union. Today we're going to go over decoding scams, psychology and prevention. So, scammers do not discriminate. They don't care about your age, your gender identity, your employment, your education. All they care about is how much information they can collect about you and how they can utilize that information to bring in their next payday. And no one is immune, not even me. I'm Stephanie McCraffick. I have worked in the financial industry for over 19 years. I've been an anti-fraud professional for going on 9 years. I am Mayo Credit Union's Enterprise Risk Management Specialist, and I'm a certified fraud examiner. And I was scammed in a targeted phishing attack. It was early one morning at a previous employer. We were working at really large fraud surges, long hours, long weeks, lots of overtime. On this particular morning, I got up really early, about 6 o'clock, got to work about 6:30. I had not had my coffee yet. I get in, start up my computer, and the first thing I see is an email from my manager, and it says in big, bold, capital letters, "Why did you not tell me about this customer?" I go into panic mode. I'm like, oh my gosh, what did I forget? What did I do? I open the email, there's nothing in it, so I click and open the attachment. Pop-up comes up that says, this was a test. This was a targeted test attack. I was so embarrassed. I was senior fraud analyst. I was on the committee for social engineering that designed these tests, and it got me. When I took a step back and I looked, I could see all the red flags. And this was my opportunity to learn what my triggers were, where my vulnerabilities were. And none of us are immune. This can happen to anyone. This is not about your education or your intelligence, but about your humanity. Anyone can be scammed. There is a perfect scam out there for each and every one of us. Throughout my career, I have worked with chief information security officers, senior fraud analysts, cybersecurity specialists, physicians, teachers, people who work in this technology all day, every day, and people across all levels of organizations. And no one is immune. All of these individuals at some point has fallen for the perfect scam. So today we're going to talk about the psychology behind these scams. Why do we fall for them? How does the basic scam work? Looking at some of the signs of scams and how we can recognize them and the triggers in ourselves, and a few of current scams and real life examples, and then some tools to help. So first, when we talk about why do we fall for scams? Cognitive biases. These are going to be patterns of deviation from the normal way that we do our decision thinking and our processing and our judgment, right? These change and are abnormal adjustments to how we make decisions and process these decisions in our judgment. An example of this is optimism bias. So Talia Sherritt, who's a neuroscientist, talks about how 80% of people's brains believe that they are less likely than their peers to experience negative events and more likely to experience positive ones. This is that feeling that like it won't happen to me. So unless you're like me and you live in fraud and all you think about is fraud all the time, like I go to a wedding and I see that card box that people put their card in with money, I cannot enjoy myself until I know that box is secure and taken care of, right? Most people aren't like me. They don't think about worst case scenarios all the time. They don't think about all the fraud that can happen. They don't approach things with, this is probably a scam, right? Or I would know it's a scam. Now I know some of you out there, if not most of you, are thinking, I would know. I would recognize it's a scam. So we're gonna go through a little experiment here. So I'm going to give you a series of questions, and I want you to think about where your abilities in these areas align with the rest of the population. Are you below average? Are you average? Just a little bit above average? Or are you like elite in this area, right? So think about that with how you are getting along with others. Okay, what about your driving ability? How interesting you are, how attractive you are, how honest or modest you are. So generally, most of us will put ourselves at about average or just above average. But this is statistically impossible. We cannot all be just above average, okay? And it's because of this innate optimism bias that most of us have that we believe we are better off, smarter than the other person, and it won't happen to us. That actually makes us more vulnerable and more likely to get caught in these scams. Just make sure I didn't miss anything on this one. Nope, we're good. Okay. All right, so then let's talk about amygdala hijacking. So amygdala hijacking, this is your fight, flight, or freeze response. This is the part of your brain that controls your emotions. Now, our amygdala is, it's going to be our behavioral response and reaction, and with the fight or flight, once this takes over, you are physically impossible to use your rational judgment. The part of your brain that controls your logic and your reasoning, the frontal lobes, are completely overridden by this instinctual fight or flight response. Now, most of the time when we think about prehistoric, this was because like an animal was chasing you. Nowadays, what this looks like is strong emotional reactions: fear, stress, anxiety, anger. These are the ones that are going to be triggering this response. So fear or worry, right? So whether this is the fear of being afraid of the consequences of your actions, or maybe your inaction, the worry of missing out, like the fear of missing out on something, fear for yourself, for your safety, for your loved one's safety. This could also be fear of disappointing someone, or it could even be when you're reacting to like what could happen. So when we talk about fear, when we feel those triggers of panic and fear, those strong emotional reactions, that's the sign for us to kind of take a pause, stop, and evaluate what is causing this response, what is causing this reaction. And then there's the scarcity, which is where they maximize on this like fear of missing out, like it's a one-time deal, get it now. And then we talk about speed, being distracted and busy, like information and technology and people, conversations are coming at us faster than ever. There's hardly any time to really take in and absorb things. And scammers put things specifically in your day-to-day activities, traps into what you expect to be normal and expected. They count on this distraction, this busy, this go, go, go lifestyle to be able to bring you in, to catch you off guard. Being helpful, reciprocity or liking. So we want to help others. We like to share with our communities. We want to be a part of them and support them. And it's this whole like helpful, courteous citizen, right? We are more likely as individuals to help someone who's done something kind for us or who's given us something for free than if not. So for example, if you're walking and someone holds a door open for you, you're more likely to return that favor than if they hadn't. So it's this give and take kind of attitude that can lead us vulnerable. One example I like to share with people is when you look at a free trial. It's not really free. They're saying it's free, they're going to give you something and give you to try out this product, but they're collecting all your data. They get your data about you. So it's that kind of luring in with the giving. Authority bias. So authority bias is creating this sense of authority. It's building on the trust we've already established in brand names, organizations, recognizable authority figures already like FBI, things like that. It's using that built-in established trust so that you don't question things as much. And when they ask you to do something that normally you might be like, that doesn't seem right. Well, it's the FBI asking, I better do it. Builds that authority. We're more likely to place trust in people before not trusting them. We like to give people a reason to have us not trust them versus just not trusting. And we live in a world now where we really need to question all of the communication coming at us before we just accept it as true. And then human connection. We all want to be wanted. We want to be needed. We all have this innate desire to be with people. And it's this human connection that gets preyed upon and utilized by scammers. They prey on our insecurities, our vulnerabilities, and our loneliness. And like I said, there's a perfect scam out there for each and every one of us. Now, this doesn't mean we're doomed, right? We can catch our own triggers, we can see our own red flags, and familiarize ourselves with patterns of scams and the scams that are out there to build our knowledge to protect ourselves. So let's talk about the basic pattern of every scam. Now, there's always little deviations, but they all kind of boil down to the same thing. And how scammers trick millions of people into losing thousands of dollars every day is these are not random occurrences. They're two-way interactions. They're conversations that get started. So first you have a scammer that's going to have a desire for money, information, and then they're going to make a plan based out of what they want to accomplish. Then they're going to select their victims. They're going to figure out who their target audience is and specifically tailor messages to them that they're going to send out. This could be by email, this could be text message, IM, phone call, and then they're going to tailor those messages with a baited hook. This is why it's called phishing, right? There's a lure. So this hook is going to be reasonable or logical. It might be exciting. It could trigger feelings of like panic or fear. It could play on that reciprocity, like you're going to get something out of it. Or that scarcity, like you're going to miss out on something if you don't act. And again, like I said, these are exchanges of information. The idea behind this is that they want to get a conversation going. Nowadays, these first initial messages might even not be a real person. It could be AI technology that's being used to send out the initial first messages, and then once you click on it and start responding, then it transfers it to a real person. Or then they're going to start building on that conversation. They're going to keep encouraging that engagement and building that trust. And the more people that engage with them, the higher chance that they're going to forward their plan and have the bait taken. And that's how we end up with a victim. Their goal is to keep the conversation going, gaining and building trust, and eventually collecting that hard-earned information, confidential information, card information, finalizing their plan. Okay, so that's kind of the basic roadmap of a scam. They're all kind of fall under this category here. So let's go through some signs of a scam, when we should put the brakes on. So the first is if you're posing as an authority figure or known organization, your medical licensing board, the FBI, a government agency, your bank, your financial institution, your utility company. These are all companies that we already have established trust with, so there's less work for them to do. So this is one of the tactics they're going to use to kind of lure you in and build that initial trust. Anything that claims it's an emergency. If you don't act right now, your prize winnings are going to be gone. Or if you don't act right now, your kid in jail is going to be in trouble and they're stuck in a foreign country and they need your help. They play on our fight or flight response. They're trying to trigger those instant emotions and take over that amygdala, which is also the use of pressure, threats, are another way that they are taking over that amygdala hijacking, right? So they're going to say, like, it could be a physical threat to a family member. And the thing about this is once they get you into that fight or flight response, they want to keep you there. So they're going to continue to use scare tactics. They're going to keep you busy doing things. Might keep you on the phone. Oh, I need you to go here. I need you to do this. I need you to do that. That way you can't bring yourself out of that fight or flight into your logic brain. And then if it's unexpected or out of the blue, so this could be a knock on the door you weren't expecting. It could be a check that came in the mail that you even had to sign for. If you get one of those, don't deposit it, right? So it's these unexpected things. And then it's a secret. They tell you not to tell anybody about what's going on. This is because they do not want your bank or your loved ones to interfere in their plan. They don't want them to talk you out of it. They will even go as far as to say, your financial institution's being investigated. Oh, what branch do you go to? Yes, that's the branch we're investigating. You can't trust them. They try to dismantle that trust that you've built with your financial institution, your loved ones. They try to separate that. They may even go as far as to coach you as exactly what to tell them. Tell them you're buying a house. Tell them you're taking it out for cash for your kid, right? They will coach you. And then they're going to tell you exactly how to send them money. They're going to use sources that are hard to track, hard to trace, and impossible to recover. This is going to be wires, cryptocurrency, Zelle, Cash App, Venmo, those person-to-person payment services, Western Union, gift cards. And then they're going to start asking for sensitive or private information. If they're asking for account numbers, passwords, social security numbers, driver's licenses, your online banking credentials, sensitive photos, your security code, these are all things they're going to ask of you during a scam. Just making sure we're getting everything here. And the last one is if it seems too good to be true. Trust your gut instinct. Most of the time when I talk to people through scams, they say, I knew it. I felt it, and then I listened to their XYZ rationale, and I believed them. You know, just have to trust that instinct that you have, okay? So let's go through and talk about some of the trending scams that we're seeing right now. We're going to talk through imposter scams or phishing scams, gift card scams, online shopping and marketplace scams, travel scams, and friendly fraud or romance scams and investment scams. So imposter scams are, again, these are the ones that are specifically targeting using that relationship you've built with trusted organizations or people in authority. You're going to get a call, a direct message, a text, or an email from someone who's claiming to be like a family member, your financial institution, the IRS, the FBI, police. It's going to be cell phone provider, cable provider, utility company, Microsoft, Norton, any type of tech company, and then Amazon, Home Depot, those really popular merchants that we work with. They're going to focus on order issues or delays with orders, billing concerns, locked accounts, refunds, fraudulent charge notifications. They're also going to pose as your utility company and threaten to turn off your heat during those cold months if you don't pay. So some of the prevention tips for these types of scams are do that fight or flight pulse check or a vibe check. Like, what are you feeling? Are you feeling stressed out? Are you feeling anxious? Are you feeling worried or fearful? What is the emotion that's happening? And try to bring yourself to recognize that emotion and step away. Ignore unsolicited or unexpected messages. If you weren't expecting it and don't know who it is from at the top of your head, just ignore it. If it's that important, they'll keep trying or they'll leave you a voicemail. iPhones actually have a really great feature where you can set it up so that any phone call coming in that is not saved into your list of contacts will be forwarded and silenced to voicemail. It's a really handy feature to kind of thwart some of those ongoing scam calls. Don't click on anything or call anything in a message. So if you get a scam text message, and we'll show you a few of these in a minute here, but if you get one and there is a link to click on, or they want to generate a response and have you call them, never call or click on the information actually in the text message. You're going to want to go to a valid channel like their app, their website, the number on the back of your card, and call that number and inquire about what the message said. Make sure you are not downloading apps or going to websites as directed. If you're on the phone and somebody's like, I need you to download this app for me, and they're going to walk you through how to do it, and then, or I want you to go to this website, don't follow instructions like that. Never give out the security code. So when we talk about two-factor authentication codes or security codes, understand how the organizations that you're working with utilize these codes. Here at the credit union, We will never ask you to provide that code to us. That code is only used when you are in your online banking and you are doing something that we want to validate it is you. No employee will ever ask you for that code. That code should never be given out. And then do not send anyone money. Gift cards, wires, person-to-person payment services. If they're asking you to send money and it involves these areas, take a pulse check, step back, and reevaluate. And then don't rely on caller ID. This is a really common scam multiple organizations have been seeing across our area, where our phone numbers are being spoofed, which is really easy to do. It can look like, you know, your mom is calling. It can look like your bank is calling. The number could be the exact saved one that is on your caller ID or at your bank's website, but it's not them. So the best thing you can do in these is don't rely on it as trusted. Hang up and call back. So we talked through some real examples. I want to show these. So these look really legitimate, right? These look like they could be legitimate texts from us. This one here says, due to account unusual activity, we're going to block or restrict your account. Click here to regain full access. So it's creating that sense of urgency, like you've been restricted, like, oh no, I'm restricted, right? It's creating that panic. And then here's the action you can do to fix it. Quickly, respond here quickly. Okay, that act now. When you're looking at these, check these web links. You can see here this is not our website, right? Double check those extra links. Same thing here, not our website. And they have links in them to click on. Our messages will not have links in them to click on. We will not take you from a message to your online banking to log in. And this one here is a fraud alert. It says click here if this is not you, or to cancel it. It's not how our fraud alerts work. So it's really important to understand for each financial institution, for each company you're working with, what is their communication methods and what do they look like? What's normal? And again, watch for these codes or these links. So these are all scam. So here's 3 more. So these 2 were voicemails that were left from Spectrum supposedly and Comcast. Both of them promising me a huge discount. All I got to do is call them back to get this big discount. I don't know about you, but I've never had a cable or service provider offer me a huge discount. Excuse me. And then this last one is Amazon Prime saying like, oh, you're going to be charged this really large amount. Better call us about it, right? So again, go to the valid sources to check it out. And then here's 3 more. All scams. Again, these ones are not as good as some of the other ones, but again, this one has a link. This one said to call us now. Okay? All right, take a drink and then we'll move on to next one, sorry. Okay, so you have a quick question. Perfect, go ahead. So Mayo's actual fraud alert it's very simple for our debit and our credit cards. It's just going to come with a message that says, we're questioning this transaction. Is this you, yes or no? And if you say no, it's going to tell you to call us. It should have our main website phone number on it to call us at. But again, you're not going to click it and follow it. You're just going to go look it up on the back of your card, call that number. But it's just a simple yes or no. All right, so when we talk about online shopping and marketplace scams, online shopping and marketplaces are a great place to find awesome ways to reuse things and reduce waste, find really great deals, and make some extra cash. Craigslist, Facebook Marketplace, and a lot of these other sites have a lot of buyers, they attract a lot of attention, and they also attract a lot of scammers. So some variations of the scams you're going to see in these marketplace areas are fake payment scams. So this is going to be when you're selling something, someone's going to send you a message saying they want to buy, they want to use Cash App, Venmo, Zelle, and they said, I sent you my payment. You're like, okay, you didn't get it. I didn't get it. They're like, I sent it to you, and they show you a fake receipt that they sent it. Or they're going to send you one that says, oh, I accidentally sent you 2 payments. You need to send me one back. So these are common variations, and once you send that money back or return that payment, it's gone. A variation of this, especially we see with Zelle, is this business account required? You're trying to sell something, they claim they sent you a payment, you've given them your email address because that's what you use to sign up for Zelle, and that's how people send you money, or it could be Cash App or Venmo, it could be any of them. And they're like, well, check your email, maybe they sent you a message about it. Well, they did, it was a fake message saying, oh, you need to have a business account to be able to set up this, accept this money. And it walks you through this whole process about how you have to send out money to confirm you're legitimate. This is not how these services work. And then we have fake check overpayment scams. These are typically when someone's going to pay you with a check, and they're going to have some sort of reason for why they overpaid you. Oh, I'm going to have the hauler come meet you and you need to pay them. Can you forward the payment on to them? Or, oh, I'm sorry, I overpaid you. Can you send some of that back? By the time these checks clear and you've sent out those funds, they're gone. So when a check is put into your account, when those funds become available to you are based on the relationship that you have with your financial institution. So they're saying it's a good check, right? Because they trust you. You have a good relationship with them. But in actuality, that check is still moving through the system, waiting to be verified and validated with the other financial institution. That could take upwards of 2 weeks. So by the time that money's sent out of your account and gone, that check finally comes back and then you're liable to cover it because you put it into your account. And then fake verification codes. So this one's really popular. Online people will send you messages like, I want to make sure that you are a real person and you're not a scammer. Send me your phone number and I'm going to validate you by sending you a code. What they're really doing is they're linking your phone to a Google phone number so that they can use your phone number to scam other people. And so later, somebody else gets scammed and you get a phone call from the police or like, what are you doing? And it's not you, it has nothing to do with you. This is how scammers hide their identity. There's no reason for you to be giving out a phone number over any of these platforms. With Facebook, they've got all your information. You can communicate just fine right on Marketplace. They don't need your phone number. It's first sign there, it's a scam. So some prevention tips. Familiarize yourself with services before you use them. If the first time you are using Cash App or Zelle or Venmo is through one of these platforms because you're buying or selling something, it's not the time to start using it. Understand how the services work before you use them. Contact the vendor directly if you have any issues. If Zelle says you have a payment issue, Zelle is not the one that is responsible for dealing with issues. Zelle works through the banks. So you would have to contact your financial institution to figure out what the problem is. Use services like Zelle, Cash App, Venmo with people you know in real life. These services are meant to have your grandma send you money for your birthday, pay your best friend back for a cup of coffee, or split lunch with a coworker. These are not meant for purchases. If you are using one of these payment methods with a business, understand that valid, legitimate businesses are going to offer you multiple payment methods. If they're telling you that this is the only payment method, even if they are legitimate, I wouldn't be giving them my business because they don't care about consumer protection, because these services have no consumer protection. If something goes wrong with the service that you were supposed to get or the product, you have no way to get money back or recover or exchange or anything. So they should have multiple platforms to make payments. And then never accept or send money to others. So this is where you can get caught in the middle of a scam and not realize it. So if you're buying or selling something, I'm going to send you some funds, I'm going to pay for this, perfect, you send off your item. Oh, can you actually forward that on? I paid extra and forward it on to my friend, and then you're now the middle person. So don't be moving money for people through platforms. Can get you in a lot of trouble. And then never give out card information, account numbers, phone numbers, and beware of anything that's a special deal or extremely low price. All right, so here's an example of what this Zelle email will look like. So when they say you need to have a business account, you can clearly see this one. This actually doesn't show as well as mine, but the background on this is actually checkered on my normal screen. And you can kind of see the mismatching font. It's telling you it's pending. In order to initiate this, we need you to set up a business account and contact the sender. This is not how Zelle works. If you had an issue with your payment getting stuck, you would contact your bank. All right, so we're going to talk through gift cards. So gift cards are used in a variety of scams because once the card information is provided and the funds are taken off, they're gone. You can't get them back. They're like impossible to recover. And here's a couple variations of how these scams work. So first we have third-party purchase. So this is where the scammer is going to go in person. They're going to dig through all the cards, and they're going to take the numbers and the pins off of them and then retape them. And then once they get a notification that that card had a loaded balance, they're going to steal the money off that card. Retail and online store gift card scams. So this is where bots test millions of card and pin combinations until they find one that has a loaded balance. And then they will either cash off that balance, steal the money right off of it, or they're going to post this information for sale on the dark web where they can make a profit. Discount and fake gift cards. So this is really popular with online like social media, Facebook Marketplace, TikTok, where someone's going to usually have some kind of sob story about why they need cash or money right now, but they have these gift cards that they can sell you. So you buy the gift card, you pay them with Venmo, Cash App, and then you get the card, if you get the card, and it's empty. And then gift cards for payment. So this is really typical when we see like the utility company posing scams, and they'll say, we're going to turn off your utilities. You need to call me and pay me with a gift card right now. And last one here is our business email compromise scams. So this is a specific type of social engineering attack, and it's typically done through email or text message. And it's going to appear like it's coming from a legitimate and trusted source, somebody you know, high-end executives, things like that. And the goal here is to have you take an action for them, like, hey, I really need you to do me a favor. I'm in a meeting, and I need you to go get gift cards for this high-end client. It can happen to anybody. They do really target the high-end professionals with these ones, but it can happen to anyone. So some prevention tips with these. Avoid buying from high-end Target retailers. Best Buy, Walmart, Target, we all love these companies, right? We all shop there, we love them. But so do the scammers. And that's why they target them. When you're buying gift cards, try to buy them from a financial institution or a merchant that has the stock locked up and put away. If you have to buy from somewhere that doesn't have it locked up and put away, buy them from an area that's very heavily trafficked and look towards the back and the middle. Compare the card packaging to other cards of the same type. Always get a receipt when you purchase a gift card and make sure you keep it. This is the only way to recover anything if your card is ever lost or stolen. Make sure you're checking balances often and using up funds quickly. Don't let your gift card sit out there with a balance for 2-3 years. And report fraud and scams immediately to the merchant. Sometimes there really isn't anything they can do, but sometimes they're able to recover funds if you report it quickly enough. Make sure when you're purchasing online that you have a valid URL, that you're going to an HTTPS for secure, not HTTP. And when you're Googling a company, the first selection that comes up might say sponsored. If it is a sponsored link, you want to scroll down and do the next one and validate the link's the correct address. Because a lot of times scammers are purchasing those sponsored ads and making fake websites because it's the first one people click. And never buy gift cards off of Craigslist, Facebook Marketplace. If you have compromised credentials, let's say you do click on something, you enter information in, call your financial institution right away. And only use gift cards at the store that they were issued at, right? So like Amazon cards are only used at Amazon, Best Buy at Best Buy, Target at Target. You're not going to use an Amazon gift card to pay your utility company, okay? And then only use gift cards as gifts. So here's some examples if you're buying gift cards, what to look for tampering. So has the pin been exposed? Does the sticker appear to be altered, peeling, or replaced? And how does the packaging appear? Is there any bubbling? discoloration, is there any glue that's separating at the bottom, and compare several packages of the same kind. So in these examples here, you can see the sticker here has been replaced on these cards. This one, there was a label placed over top. And here, the numbers don't even match. Here we've got some glue that's loosened up after it was resealed. These packages have some discoloring, and then this is the bubbling. So I want to go over some actual instructions or signs they give you with gift cards. So if they say they want you to give them the card number and the PIN or take a picture of it, huge red flag. If they're telling you to make a payment or your services are going to be stopped or you're going to go to jail. If they keep you on the phone. If they're keeping you on the phone or you're getting text messages and it's like, hey, where are you? Where are you now? Are you at the store yet? What store did you go to? If there's that constant kind of ba-da-da-da-da-da happening, it's a huge red flag. If they tell you which store to buy from, or if they tell you to protect your money, you need to put it on a gift card. This is a big one we see in conjunction with when they're saying you can't trust your bank. They're being investigated. You need to go put your money on a gift card. Any third party that's going to offer to check your gift card balance, these are all scams. The only place you can check your balance is actually at the place that the card is from. And be aware of anything that asks you for an activation fee. There are lots of gift cards out there you don't have to pay an activation fee for, so just stay away from this one. Okay, next up we're going to go through travel scams. So travel's been opened back up. People are kind of going everywhere now. People are enjoying traveling again. And we still have to watch for, bogus flight booking websites, fraudulent cancellation emails, and sudden price increases. So we're seeing this with free vacations. This is a big one where they're offering you a free vacation, but you have to do a little extra with it. Robocalls about deals. Some people are still getting faxes about vacation deals. Vacation home scams. So you're going to rent out somebody's home. Charter flight scams. And fraudulent or misleading third-party booking sites. And payment verification after check-in. So to avoid these scams, some of the things you can do is do your research. Thoroughly research all the companies, organizations, hotels, flights, everything that you're going to participate in with travel. Research it all. Purchase your tickets directly from the airline or a reputable third party. And if there's any changes, contact the airline or the hotel directly when you have a cancellation or an adjustment or a price increase, anything like that. When it comes to payment errors, if someone calls you up and says there's an error to your payment, if you're physically at a hotel, go to the service desk. Review your transaction activity on your statement that you used to pay for it. It should show up what the charge is and if something's changed or been adjusted. And ask to call them back if you have to. Use the number from your original booking receipt, not the number they called from or that they may give you. And if it seems too good to be true, that's when it's time to walk away. There's a lot of these scams out there that seem like they're amazing deals for travel, and if it feels like it's too good, it probably is. And last here, ask experts who are industry experts in travel and recommendations from trusted sources. So one of the real life examples we have of this is we call it Frank's check-in charge up. So Frank was traveling for work. He got to his hotel, he checked in, he gave him his credit card, they rang up his room charges and incidentals, everything was good to go. He went up to his room, got settled in. Maybe a couple hours later, he got a phone call. Said, hey, this is the front desk. We had an issue with your payment. Can I get your card number? Can I get your 3-digit code? Can you validate your address for me? Okay, thanks so much. I'm so sorry for the inconvenience. You're good to go. Well, later that afternoon, Frank had a couple $1,000s of charges racked up at his credit card within minutes. He didn't know that the person calling was actually a scammer who had just picked a random room number, called it up, and started asking for information. So some of the warning signs here is if you think you've won a free vacation, but you have to pay for booking fees, it's not free. Anything that promises you 5-star or luxury accommodations, but there's no details. Any website or online seller that's offering you airline tickets or hotel reservations at a significant discount. Anything that asks you to pay with a gift card, person-to-person payment service, or with digital currency, like cryptocurrency. And if you get a call or message asking to pay extra for a flight, or told your flight was canceled, or there's a rebooking fee, or if you're asked to verify payment information via the phone, text, or email after you've already checked in. Ooh, we're running quick here. I got to talk faster. So we talk about situationships, friendly fraud, or romance scams. So there's a lot of variations to these scams, right? So it can be dating or romance, friendly fraud, like friendly friends, acquaintances, situationships, or investment advisors and friends. So the goal here is that they're all going to change these and accommodate these based on each unique situation, right? Their goal is to make it fit to you. They're very personal. They invest a lot of time in these relationships because they're in it for the long haul. These are not quick hit scams. And the main thing here is like they're gonna put a lot into it and say like, oh, I'm gonna come meet you, I'm gonna come meet you, and then they never come meet you, right? So some of the prevention tips with these scams are gonna be, if they can't meet you in real life, suspect. You should be able to meet somebody in real life within a couple months. And beware of any like sob stories or pet names. Anyone who falls too fast, like if it escalates from like first meeting to like love with those really strong emotions right away, huge red flag. Think about the images and things you're sharing with them. Would you send it to your grandma? If not, you probably shouldn't send it to them. Never send money or confidential information. Do your research. Do reverse image searches, look their name up and search under scam. Trust your gut instincts. And check with friends and family and listen to them. There's so many times people are like, well, my kids really said that I shouldn't talk to them and it felt like a scam. Or my mom didn't feel good about this guy, but I didn't listen. Listen to your family and loved ones. They really do have your best interest at heart. And then review all investment opportunities with an expert. So if we talk about investments gone wrong, I include the investments in part of the romance scam because these ones can shift from any of those type of like starts, right? It could be a friend, it could be a romance, it could be just somebody who's like, hey, I found this great investment opportunity. It can really start anywhere, but you're gonna meet them online in some way. This one says a dating app, but you could meet them anywhere. Then they're gonna start asking you to move to like WhatsApp or Messenger or a separate private platform. And then they're going to start calling or texting you and then really building on that relationship. Their goal is to endear you to them as quickly as possible and create that connection. And then all of a sudden they're going to start talking money. Oh my gosh, I started making so much money investing in cryptocurrency or buying precious metals. Oh, gold is where it's at. You really need to hear about these investment opportunities. So they're going to have you start small. They're building that trust. So you send maybe $1,000, right? And then guess what? You make money. You got a huge chunk of money back in your account. Oh my gosh, they were right. We're making money. That's the lure. That's the hook. So now you're going to invest higher dollar amounts and more. And then you're going to hit a point where you run out of money to invest or something doesn't feel right. And then you try to contact them and your money is gone and you can't get it back, and you can't get a hold of them. Victim losses with this particular scam are growing at a significant rate. So the numbers down here, these are from Scam Watch. This is like not even close to what the FTC is actually reporting. That's why I crossed this one out here, because they say, just to give you how off these numbers are, they say 40 million plus lost in 2023. 4.6 billion was lost in 2023 due to this scam. Okay? It's mostly targeting high executive professionals, working professionals, people who are ready to invest. They're kind of at that mid-career level to high, lower-end career level, or early retirees, right, where they really kind of want to keep bumping up that retirement income. That's kind of their main target group that we're seeing. Here it's saying people over 55 lose the most money because they have the most to lose. So here's here's an example of one of these scams. This is kind of a friendly fraud romance scam type situation, so it's a little bit personal here. I got a new dog, and my personal social media accounts are locked down pretty good. I don't post a lot out there publicly, and the stuff I do is very it's like a picture of an ocean, right? So it's not like super, besides my profile picture, which in this one you can see is me and my son. It's kind of all I ever have is a picture of just me or me and one person. In this instance, we had gotten a puppy, and I wanted to find the other puppy's siblings if anybody else wanted to get together. It's a public page, information is out there, and almost immediately I had this person comment. And they're like, it's a little weird talking to someone that you don't know, but your personality is bright and adorable. Okay, you don't know somebody's personality when you're just looking at a picture, just for the record. Seeing you on my suggested friend option, I was drawn to your timeline, and every message you put out there is fascinating and worth good content. There's no content, right? You scroll, there's nothing there. But again, the flattery, right? The emojis, oh, look at those lovey emojis, so sweet. And then he goes, I've tried to connect with you, but it won't let me. Kindly send me a friend request so we can get to know ourselves. And then it says, God bless you and your family, with all these emojis, right? Again, poor grammar, escalating from introduction to I want to get to know you really quickly. This scammer thinks based on the picture, he's targeting a single mom. He's trying to play on that human connection, maybe the loneliness, the vulnerabilities, right? That's what's being targeted here. So warning signs. If they promise to meet you in person and it never comes to fruition. The language and message content, right? With AI nowadays, a lot of this is going to get less and less where these spelling and grammar things and the translation isn't going to be an issue. So you can't just rely on that. So look at the tone. How are they speaking to you? How quickly are they trying to progress that relationship? Are they trying to move you to a private platform? Isolate you from friends and family? And then are they starting to request sensitive photos or information? Now this could be pictures of your kids, right? They use this information against you as leverage later. So some of the popular scam lies in 2022, and these have changed quite a bit in 2023, they've increased quite a bit, is I or someone close to me is sick, hurt, or in jail. I can show you how to invest. I'm in the military far away. I need help with an important delivery. We've never met, but let's talk about marriage. I've come into some money or gold, and then I'm on an oil rigger ship, and you can trust me with your private pictures, okay? So your financial institutions have a lot of tools to help protect you from scams and just keep you on top of your everyday banking. Suspected fraud alerts for those debit and credit cards, we've talked about a little bit about what to expect and what to look for, right? We also have transaction alerts. Check with your financial institution. What do they offer you? These, we can break these down really great. They've got balances, transaction types, like dollar amounts. You can set thresholds, checks, ACH, external. My favorite is our general alert. So this alert you turn on, and every time you sign into your online banking, you're going to get a notification like, you signed into your online banking. This one's important because if you ever get that alert and you're not the one signing in, it is time to call your bank right away. It is the best alert out there. And then we have the card management where you can turn your card on and off if something happens. We have access to your online banking where you can check your accounts, review them in real time. This is super important because end of month statement review is no longer enough. Really, we need to be checking accounts every day, at minimum every week, because if fraud happens, it can escalate very quickly. You have access to your paper and online statements, and know that we have member support over the phone, text, chat, and in person. And here at the credit union, we are dedicated to Mayo employees and their families, no matter who your primary financial institution is, and we're happy to review any suspicious situation with you. So what happens if you've been victimized in a scam? Now what? So first, shut down access to your money and your confidential information. If you gave out your debit card, close your debit card. If you gave out your account number, call your financial institution right away. Take steps first to lock and secure your information. Freeze your credit, okay? Shut off access to your identity and funds. Then block the scammer. No more contact, okay? Block the numbers, the emails, and expect that they're going to continue to try to contact you under different names, different emails, different phone numbers, with completely different types of scams probably. Report the scam. Collect all the details, write down the facts, write down the phone numbers, the emails, all the details, and then report it to your financial institution, your local police, and IC3.gov. And then rebuild your accounts as needed. Work with your financial institution to recover. Figure out what needs to be done to rebuild your accounts, rebuild your financial plan, do a reset. We have an amazing financial counselor here named Soka who is great at helping with this kind of thing. Seek out those trusted, reliable organizations to help you with recovery. Victimization in scams also includes emotional recovery. So people fail sometimes to really understand or deal with the emotional impact of these scams. So we highly recommend to seek out professional counseling and support when these things happen, because rebuilding your finances isn't enough. You need to make sure that you're feeling okay about everything and have that support and that community to know that you're not alone. And understanding that the shame and the victim blaming that can come along with scams, it has nothing to do with your intelligence or your education. And then continue to build your knowledge to protect yourself against future scams. There's a lot of great resources out there. There's the BBB, FTC, FBI. AARP has an amazing fraud watch network. So those are great places and resources to keep current on the trending scams. And when it comes to reporting scams, you can report to the BBB, the FTC, and IC3.gov. Do we have any questions? Anything online?